There's a quiet ache that many couples feel but rarely speak aloud. Not pain exactly, more like absence. You still love each other. You still laugh at the same old jokes, know each other's habits, finish each other's sentences. But when it comes to intimacy, something's changed. It might have started subtly. A brush of the hand missed. A goodnight kiss turned into just a nod. Weeks become months. And deep down, you begin to wonder, is this just what happens after 60? Is it too late? Are we broken or just older? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, please hear this. You are not broken. You are not alone. And most importantly, it's not too late. Intimacy doesn't disappear with age. It evolves. It becomes less about urgency and more about connection. Less about performance and more about presence. And when nurtured with care, trust, and even a bit of courage, it can be more meaningful now than it ever was before. In this video, we'll explore the safe, fulfilling truth about staying intimate after 60. Not fantasy, not impossible standards, just real, grounded guidance to help you reconnect in body, in heart, and in soul. Because love in later life isn't the end of desire. It might just be the beginning of something deeper. Hi, I'm Michael, and this is Comfort Corner, a place where we talk about life after 60 with honesty, warmth, and a deep respect for the journeys we've all taken to get here. Around here, we don't chase youth. We celebrate the wisdom, grace, and strength that come with age. We speak to the quiet questions you may have, the ones whispered late at night or felt in the silence between two people who still love each other deeply, but aren't quite sure how to find their way back to that closeness. This channel exists for conversations like today's, about intimacy, about staying connected, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and soulfully. Whether you're married, widowed, divorced, dating again, or simply navigating life's changes solo, what we explore here is for you. Because you deserve not just information, but companionship. Not just answers, but understanding. And if this kind of space speaks to your heart, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Leave a comment to share your thoughts or your story, no matter how small. Or share this video with someone who might quietly need it more than they know. The truth is, aging doesn't mean fading. And at Comfort Corner, we believe that even after 60, life and love can bloom in the most unexpected and beautiful ways. Let's begin. At first, the changes are subtle. You may notice that your body doesn't respond the way it once did, or that desire doesn't arrive on command like it used to. You might feel less spontaneous, more hesitant. You may find yourself wondering, is this normal? Is this the beginning of the end? Let's pause there. Because the truth is, intimacy after 60 changes. And that's not a flaw, it's nature. Just like the seasons of life shift gently from one to the next, our bodies and hearts do the same. And there's nothing wrong, broken, or shameful about it. A natural evolution, not a decline. According to research from the Mayo Clinic, both men and women experience shifts in sexual function as they age. Men may notice changes in erection firmness or recovery time. Women may find that vaginal dryness or lower estrogen levels affect comfort or desire. Energy levels, medications, and chronic conditions like diabetes or arthritis can all influence intimacy. But none of this means intimacy must vanish. It simply means it will look different, and in many ways gentler, more emotionally connected, more mindful. It can be even more meaningful. Imagine intimacy in your 60s and beyond as a sunset, not a spark. It's no longer about fireworks. It's about warmth, presence, and the richness that only years of love and experience can bring. Letting go of old scripts. So much of what we believed about sex and intimacy came from our younger years. Movies, magazines, conversations that were often more pressure than truth. Fast, flawless, passionate on command. But here's a freeing truth. You don't need to perform intimacy. You just need to feel it. There's no gold standard. There's only what feels right, safe, connected, and shared between two people who care about each other. For some couples, this means redefining intimacy to include cuddling, holding hands, slow touch, shared baths, or simply lying in bed together without needing to do anything. For others, it means exploring new rhythms, new ways of giving and receiving pleasure with patience, humor, and kindness. The courage to adapt. Adaptation is not defeat, it's resilience. A loving couple in their 60s or 70s might discover a deeper kind of closeness because they're more present, more attentive, and more comfortable in their own skin than ever before. There is no rush, no race to finish. No need to be anyone but yourselves. And for those who are single, widowed, or beginning again, the changes in your body do not disqualify you from love or desire. In fact, they may invite you to a version of intimacy that is slower, safer, and more emotionally rewarding than anything you've known. So the next time you notice a shift, pause, breathe, and remember, you are not less. You are simply evolving. The next part of this journey is about embracing that change, together. In the early days of love, physical chemistry often speaks first. A glance, a touch, the electric rush of new desire. But as time passes, after decades of sharing life, raising families, enduring illness or grief, what sustains intimacy is not just passion, but emotional closeness. This kind of connection isn't flashy. It's quiet, steady, and deeply human. And for couples over 60, it becomes the very heartbeat of intimacy. More than touch, it's feeling seen. Think of emotional closeness like the soil beneath a garden. You can plant all the flowers you want, but without rich, nourished earth, nothing truly takes root. In intimacy, that soil is made of trust, knowing your partner will hold your truth without judgment. Safety, feeling emotionally secure enough to be vulnerable. Presence, the ability to be fully there without distraction or resentment. Compassion, a gentle awareness of each other's aging bodies, shifting moods, and quiet fears. You might not say it aloud, but you may long to feel held in ways that go beyond the physical, held emotionally, spiritually, attentively. And here's the good news: emotional closeness can be rebuilt at any age, even if you've grown distant, even if old wounds still echo in the silence. Little moments matter most. You don't need grand gestures or hours of conversation to rebuild emotional connection. Sometimes all it takes is the courage to reach out in small, sincere ways. A soft, "How are you really feeling today?" Sitting together in stillness, without phones or distractions. A handwritten note left on the kitchen table, remembering something they said last week and bringing it up again just to show you were listening. These are not just nice moments. These are acts of intimacy. Tiny bridges built daily toward a safer emotional space where physical closeness can follow more naturally. After conflict or distance, if you and your partner have grown apart emotionally through stress, illness, misunderstandings, it's not uncommon. Many couples after 60 carry the weight of unspoken hurts. But the beauty of this stage in life is that you don't need to rush. You can take your time to begin again, gently. Start with conversations that are open-ended, not demanding. Try, "What do you miss about us? What made you feel loved when we were younger? Is there something you've been afraid to say?" These questions aren't about fixing everything in one night. They're about turning toward each other again, with curiosity, not blame. And if the emotional walls feel too tall to climb alone, a licensed relationship counselor or therapist trained in working with older adults can help guide you back, one step, one story, one touch at a time. Intimacy begins before the bedroom. What might surprise you next is this. The most fulfilling physical intimacy often begins far from the bedroom. It begins with how you hold each other's feelings, with how you laugh together, with how you forgive. When emotional closeness is strong, physical connection becomes safer, deeper, more authentic. And the older we get, the more that kind of intimacy matters most. There's a language we all spoke before we ever learned words: touch. A baby's tiny hand gripping a parent's finger, a friend's arm wrapped around your shoulder in grief, the warmth of another human being saying, without saying anything, "I'm here, you're safe." As we age, touch remains just as powerful. But for many over 60, it can also become more uncertain, wrapped in fears of rejection, physical discomfort, or simply not knowing where to begin again. And yet, when we let go of pressure and expectation, we discover that tenderness is still available to us, and it may be even more meaningful now than ever. From performance to presence, one of the most freeing truths about intimacy after 60 is this: it doesn't have to be about sex, and even when it is, it doesn't have to follow old scripts. What matters most isn't technique, it's connection. Being present in the moment without rushing, without performing, without worrying about doing it right. This might mean a long, lingering embrace in the kitchen, lying in bed together with hands gently interlaced, giving or receiving a soft foot rub while watching TV, exploring gentle massage with scented oils, candles, soft music. These may sound simple, but in a world that moves so fast, they are sacred. Because touch, when offered without agenda, becomes healing, restorative, a kind of wordless prayer. Safety and comfort. First, let's speak honestly. Many seniors feel anxious about physical closeness due to changes in their bodies. Pain, stiffness, surgeries, medication side effects, or even dry skin can create barriers, but small adjustments can make a big difference. Positioning. Choose comfortable settings, reclined chairs, firm mattresses, pillows for joint support. Lubrication. For women, vaginal dryness is common after menopause. A water-based or silicone lubricant or vaginal moisturizer can help greatly. Erection changes. For men, slower arousal or softer erections are normal with age. Focus on closeness over performance. Gentle pacing. Take breaks, check in, laugh together. It's okay to adapt. According to the Cleveland Clinic, many older adults can enjoy safe, pleasurable intimacy by staying informed, open, and seeking help when needed. A frank conversation with your doctor can go a long way, and there's nothing shameful about asking for support. Rediscovering touch as a love language. For some couples, intimacy has become rare, not out of lack of love, but simply from habit. Life gets busy. Routines settle in. We forget that our skin still longs to be remembered. But here's a quiet truth. Your partner may be longing for touch, just like you. Start slowly. Sit closer during meals. Reach for their hand while walking. Rest your head on their shoulder as you watch a movie. These tiny gestures rebuild the bridge. Think of it like learning to dance again, not for performance, but for joy. Let your bodies find their rhythm again, even if it's slower, even if it's different. In this chapter of life, intimacy becomes less about friction and more about feeling. Not what you do, but how you do it. Not how long it lasts, but how connected you feel in the moment. Tenderness never ages, and your body, just as it is today, is still worthy of love, attention, and safe connection. For many people over 60, intimacy doesn't fade because the desire disappears, but because the body starts whispering different instructions, and often we don't quite know how to listen. There might be aches that weren't there before, medications that dampen libido or arousal, fatigue, hormonal shifts, surgeries, or chronic conditions that quietly change how we feel in our own skin. But here's the truth. These changes don't have to mean the end of intimacy. They just mean we need to understand our bodies in a new way and care for them with patience, curiosity, and support. What's going on in the body? Let's start with what's normal, because so much of what's scary becomes less so when it's named. According to Harvard Health Publishing, common changes that affect intimacy after 60 include lower estrogen levels in women, leading to vaginal dryness, thinning tissue, and discomfort; decreased testosterone in men, which may lead to reduced libido, softer erections, or longer recovery time; chronic conditions like heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, or incontinence that affect confidence or mobility; side effects from medications such as antidepressants, blood pressure pills, or hormone therapies. These shifts are not flaws, they're natural, but they do require us to adjust, not just physically, but emotionally. What can help? Rather than suffer in silence, consider these supportive options. Lubricants and moisturizers. Water-based or silicone-based lubricants reduce discomfort, especially for women. Vaginal moisturizers used regularly can improve tissue elasticity. Pelvic floor exercises. Gentle Kegels help strengthen pelvic muscles for both men and women, which may improve blood flow and sensation. Testosterone therapy or estrogen creams. Only under a doctor's guidance, these can help some people restore libido or comfort. Always consult a licensed provider. These are not one-size-fits-all. Physical therapy. For issues like pelvic pain, joint limitations, or posture changes, working with a specialist can open doors back to safe movement and touch. Medical devices or ED treatments. Options like vacuum pumps or prescription medications may help men experiencing erectile difficulties. Again, only with a doctor's supervision. The most important step: talk to your doctor. It can feel awkward, even embarrassing. But here's something many seniors don't realize. Your doctor has these conversations every day. And the more openly you share what's really going on physically and emotionally, the more they can help. Whether it's a gynecologist, urologist, geriatrician, or primary care doctor, you deserve to have these concerns taken seriously and treated with dignity. If the idea of saying I'm struggling with intimacy feels too vulnerable, try this. I've noticed some changes in my relationship and in my body. Can we talk about that? Are there safe options to feel more connected physically at this stage in life? Is this normal for someone my age? Opening that door may feel brave, but it may also be the beginning of a whole new level of healing and closeness. When health brings you closer. Strangely enough, caring for your body together can become a shared act of intimacy. Holding your partner's hand during a doctor's visit, asking how they feel, really feel after a tough day, researching something together, laughing through trial and error. These aren't separate from intimacy, they are intimacy. Because staying connected after 60 isn't about ignoring what's changing, it's about facing it together. With courage, with tenderness, and with a quiet belief that this body and this love is still worthy of attention. You sit beside the person you've shared decades with. You've weathered storms together, loss, aging parents, empty nests, illness, retirement. And yet when it comes to speaking about your needs, your longings, your fears around intimacy, the words still feel stuck. Why is it that the most tender parts of life are the hardest to say out loud? For many people over 60, talking about intimacy feels wrapped in layers of silence, sometimes from culture, sometimes from childhood, and often from years of putting others first. We weren't taught how to speak openly about this, especially in a way that feels respectful, clear, and free of shame. But the truth is, healthy, loving intimacy begins and heals with conversation. Why silence builds walls. When intimacy changes in a relationship and no one talks about it, both partners tend to start making quiet assumptions. Maybe they're not attracted to me anymore. Maybe I've failed them. Maybe they're fine with how things are and I'm the only one feeling lonely. These assumptions quietly grow into distance, not because of lack of love, but because of fear. Fear of hurting the other. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear that saying something out loud might change everything. But ironically, what we don't say often builds more hurt than what we do. It's not the truth that breaks connection, it's the silence around it. How to begin the conversation. You don't need to start with something heavy. Sometimes a simple question can open the door gently. Here are a few ways to start. I've been thinking about how much I miss feeling close to you. Would it be okay if we talked about that sometime? Has anything changed for you in how you feel about intimacy lately? I'm a little nervous bringing this up, but I want us to feel connected in every way, not just as partners, but as lovers too. It's okay to feel awkward. In fact, name it. This feels a little scary to talk about, but I love you, and I want us to feel close again. When you lead with love, not blame, not guilt, you create space for your partner to feel safe. And safety is the soil where intimacy can grow again. Listen without defending. Once the conversation begins, resist the urge to defend or explain right away. Just listen. Let the words come out. Even if what's said feels clumsy or surprising or emotional, know that it's a gift. Your partner is showing up. That's everything. You can always respond with, "Thank you for telling me." That means a lot to hear. Let's keep talking about this, even if we don't have all the answers yet. Sometimes just feeling heard changes everything. It can make someone feel seen, valued, wanted. When you need a guide. If past hurt or long periods of disconnection make these conversations feel too hard to start alone, don't hesitate to seek support. A licensed couples therapist or sex therapist, especially one trained in working with older adults, can help create a space where both of you can feel safe enough to share. These professionals understand that intimacy is not about performance, it's about meaning, and they can help you rebuild trust, clarity, and closeness, one word at a time. Speaking the language of intimacy again. It's never too late to find new ways to say, "I care. I want to feel close again. You still matter to me in every way." Words are powerful, and when spoken with tenderness, they become a form of intimacy themselves. So start small, start gently, but start. Because the conversation you've been avoiding might be the one that brings you back to each other. Let's take a moment to breathe. Because what we've explored today isn't just about intimacy, it's about courage. The quiet courage to face change with open eyes, the gentleness to meet yourself and your partner where you are, not where you once were. So here's what we've learned. 1. Intimacy changes with age, and that's okay. Our bodies, our rhythms, our desires, they evolve. That's not a failure. That's nature reminding us that love matures, just like we do. The spark becomes a glow. Urgency becomes depth. 2. Emotional closeness is the foundation. Connection doesn't start in the bedroom. It begins in the way we listen, the way we look at each other, the way we say, "I still see you." Without emotional safety, physical closeness can't bloom. 3. Tender touch still matters. A hand held in silence, a back rub given slowly, a forehead kissed before sleep. These are not just gestures. They are invitations to be present. Intimacy is not about what's done, but how lovingly it's done. 4. Health can support, not stop. Intimacy. From hormones to joint pain, from medication to fatigue, your body deserves understanding, not shame. With the right support and honest conversations with healthcare providers, connection can be safe, satisfying, and healing. 5. Talk about it, even if it's hard. The most powerful sentence might be, "I miss being close to you. Can we talk about that?" You don't need to solve everything today. Just begin. One word, one moment, one open heart. Now, what can you do today? You don't have to overhaul your relationship overnight, but you can start small. Reach for your partner's hand today, even if it's been a while. Write down one thing you miss about your intimacy and gently share it. Light a candle tonight. Sit together in quiet. Touch shoulders. Be close, even if no words are spoken. And if you're alone, ask yourself, what kind of connection do I deserve next? Then start imagining it, not with fear, but with hope. These are not grand changes. They are quiet revolutions. Because staying intimate after 60 isn't about reclaiming the past. It's about discovering what love can become when it's no longer in a hurry, when it slows down, softens, and sinks into something deeper than desire alone. You are not too old. You are not too late. And the best of intimacy, the kind built on presence, patience, and truth, might just be waiting for you now. So if you've made it this far, thank you. That alone tells me something about you, that you care, that you're still reaching for connection, even through the quiet changes of age, that somewhere inside you still believe in the power of touch, of closeness, of love that evolves instead of fading. Let me tell you something gently, as if I were sitting right beside you. You are not past your prime. You are entering a new one. Because intimacy after 60 is not a consolation prize. It is not a watered-down version of something better. It is a rediscovery, a return to slowness, meaning, and grace. It's the tender way your partner still knows your laugh. It's the brave way you ask for closeness, even if you're afraid. It's the softness of hands that have held so much, still reaching for one another. Whether you're in a long marriage, starting over, or healing on your own, you are still worthy of this. Worthy of affection, worthy of desire, worthy of being seen and touched and loved, exactly as you are now. And if something in this video resonated with you, if you saw yourself or your partner in these words, I invite you to gently share it. Send it to someone who may need this reminder. Leave a comment. Tell your story. You never know who might quietly be encouraged by your voice. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Comfort Corner is here for you, week by week, with videos that speak not just to your age, but to your heart. We're not chasing youth here. We're honoring what grows when the noise quiets down, when love becomes simpler, slower, deeper. And as always, I'm Michael from Comfort Corner, wishing you peace, health, and a heart full of hope.